The latest state witness has taken the stand in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, and Sergeant Moses Mabasa, also a cell phone analyst, started giving evidence after the grilling of fellow data analyst, that's Lambertus Steyn. Well, he gave evidence about photographs of stocked money downloaded from accused number 3 Manqoba's phone. This after being arrested back in 2020. eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu following the case for us, and he joins us once again just to give us an update on what's also expected in court. So Manqoba, once again, good morning to you, colleague. I mean, we heard then of photos of firearms as well as captions that seems to almost celebrate these firearms, Manqoba. So therefore, just please explain to us the line of questioning and what the state then is hoping to show from all of this.
Well, Dumelo, essentially what the state is trying to show is that possibly Manqoba was, linked to crime in one way or the other prior to Senzo Meyiwa's shooting. And of course, we saw some of the photos that had been downloaded from his device. We know that they were downloaded back in August 2020 after he had been arrested by police after being found in possession of a firearm, illegal firearm, we understand. And from the photos that we saw in court, they seem to suggest that this was somebody who had a propensity to crime, or somebody who was involved in crime in one way or the other. And in fact, I think the suggestion is that perhaps he was involved in violent crimes like robberies at that particular stage. But I think also, just some of the captions that we saw from the photos that were displayed from those, photos that were found in his phone. I think one of them read, "My killing machine," which was a reference to a gun, a 9mm pistol that he had photographed on that phone, according to what the state is saying. And this shows that this was somebody who had used perhaps firearms and somebody who was involved in crime, as I've already indicated, Dumelo. But perhaps let's take a listen to what had to come out as far as those firearms are concerned.
And just for record purposes, can you just put what appears on that picture on record?
It's a lot of hundreds rands money. Page 4.
Were you able to determine the date and time of this picture?
On page 3, there was no time and date of the picture.
Yes, you may proceed. Page 4.
Page 4. It's a picture of money, 100 rands and 200 rands. Written Ipande Yo Sonoa .jpg 20140902.
Perhaps also share with us, Manqoba, what else Sergeant Mabasa had to say.
Well, we recall, Dumelo, that from the evidence that we've heard for some of the people that are inside the house is that one of the intruders that was inside the house was a man that had dreadlocks, and this is the intruder that Zandile Khumalo had said was carrying a firearm at the time of the robbery. And also we heard evidence from one of the neighbors, Tabiseng Mukite, who also alluded to the fact that she had seen a man or two men that had been running out after those gunshots had gone off in the Khumalo household. And she identified one of the men as having dreadlocks. And perhaps this is what the state is trying to show, that perhaps that particular intruder could well have been Manqoba, who was at the Khumalo household at that time. And I think the reference to the guns that we saw yesterday suggests that perhaps he was the man that ultimately shot Senzo Meyiwa. But also interestingly, he also revealed that at the time when Senzo Meyiwa had been shot, Manqoba had dreadlocks on his head. And I think we heard a bit of this testimony last week when Lambertus Steyn was testifying about the photos that were downloaded from that phone, which seem to point to the fact that Mncube had dreadlocks just a day before Senzo Meyiwa was shot. And certainly this is also what we heard from the testimony of Moses Mabasa, who says that, there were photos and showed various photos of Mncube where he had dreadlocks in his head. But of course, he did face cross-examination from the defense, more especially the lawyers representing accused number 3, who had questioned him as to whether or not he was certain that these were dreadlocks, even at one point asking whether he was, a hairdresser to comment on these pictures and to really, identify the hairstyle that Mncube had as dreadlocks. And also, I think, Tumelo, one other thing that also came out in this testimony was around the guns that we spoke of earlier on. And perhaps let's take a listen to that evidence that relates to the guns that were found. It was high caliber guns that were found in those photos.
On page 37 is a picture of a firearm. It was served as my killing machine, 2014-10-06, silver and goldish 9mm pistol. On page 38, it's a picture served as IMG 201405, WA0003, 2014-1003. It's a picture of a rifle and a 9mm on a car seat. On page 39, it's a picture served as Insimbi Ehlayisa Olova, JP 2014-10-06. It's a picture with firearms.
Are you able to describe the firearms that are visible there?
From what I can see, the firearms, most of them are the 9mm pistols with ammunition. 40. It's a picture served as Ishia Bazali Z75 9mm. PJG 40 09 02. It's a firearm with a magazine and 2 ammunition.
Are you able to tell the caliber?
9mm.
All right, we'll leave it there, Manqoba Mchunu. More to come from you. Before I let you go, though, it might be wise to ask once again what time we can expect court to resume this morning.
Well, we're expecting court to start at 10 o'clock this morning, and where we left off yesterday was cross-examination by the lawyers representing accused number 3. Of course, they have a difficult task to try and discredit some of these photos and the information that has come from this particular witness. So we're expecting Charles Mnisi to continue where he left off yesterday. And of course, the lawyers representing accused number 4 and 5 also to start with their cross-examination.
Well, thank you so much, colleague, for these detailed updates. We'll be sure to make sure that our viewers catch those court proceedings at 10 o'clock live right here on eNCA. The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial continuing, and Manqoba Mchunu out for us tracking the latest developments for us.